Hello my dudes, welcome back to our journey into the Arcane in the Modpack All the Magic Arcana. Last episode we built the base level of our Wizard's Tower you see behind me. It's a strong start, but there's still a lot to do with it. Now let's take a look at our town in general. Our little magical village is really coming along. But the stairway up to the tower did stop short of connecting it up to the village, so with some stone bricks, some oak planks, and a few fences here and there and some campfires, we extended the path, so now you can just take the path all the way up to the magical tower. Pretty cool. Last episode we said we were going to look into Silent Gear Metalworks, and true to my word, that's exactly what we're going to do, so let's get to it. So my dudes, it is this area right here that I reckon we can probably squeeze in a Silent Gear Metalworks forge. Now, what is Silent Gear Metalworks? Well, basically, a long time ago, there was an amazing mod called Tinker's Construct. But just like so many amazing mods from over the years, the developer, for whatever reason, stopped making the mod. Okay, fair enough. It's a shame because it was one of my favorite mods, and a lot of people loved it too. And the gap it left was kind of filled in by Silent Gear. Silent Gear is another way for you to make tools by building the different parts of a tool and squeezing them all together to make an amazing tool. And while Silent Gear is amazing, what it doesn't do is the cool part of Tinker's Construct that was smelting. Now, if you've never seen Tinker's Construct and you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, we'll kind of get to that in the episode. But before we get going, there's a problem. There are no quests for Silent Gear Metalworks. In fact, if you go over here to Tools and Gear and look at Silent Gear, it doesn't even mention Metalworks at all. But that's okay, we're industrious, we can work this out. So let's take a look. Metalworks. And this shows us everything from the mod, and if we look through here, aha, there is a big book of metallurgy. The book can be crafted, but it's not a simple craft. We're going to make fire brick, which is fire clay smelted, and fire clay is sand and clay? Like that? Okay, we can do that. So I've got some clay in general Minecraft. Over here, we'll just get rid of that. A stack should do. We might need a couple of stacks because bricks are great, and usually actually you use bricks to make the actual forge. It was that and sand is going to be in building materials, right? Yeah, there it is. So let's get this bad boy crafted up. There we go. There is the fire clay. 4 of that. Get it smelted in the force furnace. Oh, I love how quick this is. There we go, and then these 4 fire bricks around a book, and we should have exactly what we're looking for, which is, I think this is an instruction manual, but it might not be. Either way, it's probably a good place to start. So there we go, we've got the book, no quests done, because again, there's nothing to do with this mod in the quest book. But just like with Primal Magic, the actual book from the mod is kind of a quest in itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a foundry. I think the foundry is like a big one-stop shop, a multi-block structure, for smelting loads of metals. And yeah, check it out, even the mod says it was inspired by Tinker's Construct. There's some differences, but lots of similarities. Well, hopefully, they've actually improved on Tinker's Construct, because it's a really old mod. Anyway, oh yeah, now this is the beast. This is what we're going to be making, a multi-block Biomes. And these are some of the things we'll need. So we'll put these, liquid heating coils, drains, This is very interesting. Well, we'll put these on the left so we know what we're looking for and we can kind of easily gather them. Put it over there on the left. There we go, easy to see. And this is the controller, the drain, the tank, the window, and the bricks. But we'll also need, was it a heating coil? There we go, a liquid heating coil. We'll add that too. And none of this is super complicated, but it does mean we're going to need some more clay. There's a lot of fire brick used in all of these blocks, and some of these blocks you do need a lot of. So we'll grab some iron. As you can see, we added some chests with some hopper upgrades underneath these iron farms, so now they're never going to fill up, and we should get loads more iron. Grab some sticks, because I reckon 1 shovel should do us for this. There we go, pretty simple. And now let's go grab some clay. Wow, yeah, so the shovel broke really quick, but we do have like tons and tons and tons of this stuff. So with Tinker's Construct, I remember that you used to have to gather an insane amount of gravel, sand, and clay. Luckily, it looks like you don't bother with gravel anymore, and the requirements of sand and clay are much, much lower. So we've got some sand, we've got some clay, let's head back. And we'll get this all cooked up. And there's 3 stacks of fire clay. We'll get these cooking up in our Forcecraft furnaces, and we should be good to go in a short amount of time. Let's get rid of this cobblestone though, because we're kind of done with stone brick. So with the bricks being smelted, that's the main structure of the furnace underway, but there's a couple of other things we're going to need. We're going to need, for one, this, oops, don't visualize it, this casting basin and this casting desk thing. And also some spouts to pull out the metal from the foundry. They should be in Metalworks, so Metalworks. And we'll take a look through here. Yeah, a casting basin, a casting table, a foundry tap, and I think that's it. We will also need some casts for getting the things out of the foundry, and we're going to want those for ingots, we're going to want them for rods, we're going to maybe want them for plates, because that's a good place to start. And of course, we're going to want to build our first tool, and why not make a paxel, because it is all in one. It's a pickaxe, an axe, and a shovel. So there we go, that's our bricks prepared. I'm thinking we might need some more bricks, however, this mod is much more economical on the clay and sand than the old Tinker's Construct used to be. So we could be okay. We'll start from the start though and make what we need to. So absolutely we're going to need a casting basin. We're also going to need a casting table. And we're going to need some of the other things. So that's done, that's done. We'll need the foundry tap, of course. Maybe 2 of these. So we'll make 2, one for the basin and one for the table. Next up, let's start from the top and the most important. So a controller needs, oh, a blast furnace. Not the simplest of things, but something we can handle. So we'll make a furnace, we put the smooth stone along the bottom, wrap around the top with iron, and we have the blast furnace, put that in the middle, surrounded by this fire brick, and we have the controller. Boom, number 1 done. Next up, the drain. This is super simple, just like a donut of bricks. We're going to need, again, 2 of these, because you need 1 for each of your foundry taps. Next up, we're going to need a foundry tank. This is where you store the fuel to actually burn the metal. This is what makes the foundry hot. So in building materials, we should have some glass. Oh, did we turn it all into panes? That's a bit of a pain. Oh, the blue moon. You feel lucky. Maybe we should go mining during the blue moon. But you know what? The blue moon kind of comes around semi-frequently. So we'll sleep through this one because we've got mods to be about. So there we go. There's some glass. We can surround this with the fire brick, and that should make us the tank. Now you can actually make 2 tanks. And honestly, that's a good way of doing it because it lets you store twice as much fuel for your smeltery. Or at least it did in Tinker's Construct. And what we're going to be doing is making a lot of assumptions about what we can and can't do with Tinker's Construct. We're also going to make a bunch of windows because these basically replace the brick on the side and basically give you a look inside the furnace so you can see what's going on. And I always like doing that. I always think it's a good thing to do. And last but not least, you do need a lot of these black fire bricks. These are basically the main brick that builds the structure. So you're going to want at least like 50 of these, maybe? 48 is a good place to start. We'll make a couple more just in case because you always need loads of these. So that's almost a full list. The one block we need to make now is the new block that wasn't in Tinker's Construct. This is the liquid heating coil, and this goes underneath, I think, the foundry. It's a bucket, some copper, and some more brick. Luckily enough, stuff we've got loads of. Now in my head, we're going to be making like a 3x3 furnace. So I'm not quite sure how many of these we should be making, but we might need a few. Now I'm going to go ahead and assume that we need 9. So there we go, bricks along the bottom, copper around the top, and we'll make a whole bunch of these. So I think that's everything. Let's go over to the tower now and put this down. In Tinker's Construct, you could make this building as big as you wanted it to be, really, like within reason. But we're going to stick to the standard 3x3 that it suggests here because there might not be bigger versions. So this is how big the foundry is actually going to be. Now it's a little bit tight, but I think we can still make it work. Let's remove the preview and start putting down these blocks. So the foundry is a bit of a tight squeeze down here. What we're going to do is we're going to rest it up against the back wall over here, which gives us a lot more room in front of it to walk around and work with. So we'll put down the heating coils first. We need 9 of these. And there we go, 9 heating coils in position. Then we're going to start to put down the black fire bricks. These go around the edge like this, and they're all pretty simple, with one exception. Over here, we're going to want to put down the 2 tanks and the controller. We'll put the foundry controller in the middle and the 2 tanks either side. Maybe that's a bad idea, but I think it's going to be fine. Then we'll put more bricks at the front. Now we're going to need ways to pull the metal out of the foundry. That's where we put in some drains. We're going to put one here and one here. And we're going to put the 2 different things we drain into in front of those. So that will be the table on the right and the basin on the left. Wow, look at these textures. These are very plain. I guess this mod really is kind of like a work in progress, but you know what, that's fine. Then we're going to put the foundry taps on those drains, and these will pour out into these blocks. Very cool. Now we can go around and finish up the remainder of the multi-block structure. We can interchange windows over here. Like this, we'll put some windows there. And I guess maybe on the side over here. And we'll put the last 3 windows on the back so you can see inside the foundry from the back. Pretty cool. And then we'll just wrap it all up with the remainder of these bricks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go. That is the completed multi-block structure. Now I think the fact that these liquid heating coils have turned orange means this thing is working. Let's take a look at the controller. Oh yeah, the controller is on as well. We can right click here and we get an interface. Oh, very cool. So if you've played Tinker's Construct, you know exactly what's going on here. You put metal on the right to get smelted, and these 2 bars show you how much fuel is in the foundry and how much metal is in the foundry. Well, okay, let's go and get some lava to put inside those tanks. So we've made ourselves 10 buckets. I reckon 10 buckets of lava should last us a long time. Let's check the map because there was that surface lava somewhere over here that we found before. There it is, got a waypoint there, lava. Very good. There was a lot of lava here. That's going to fill up our buckets, no sweat. And there we go, 10 buckets of lava. That's a lot of lava. We can actually put the lava into our backpack and it will kind of stack a little bit. Only up to 4, but it's better than nothing, right? Anyway, let's go home. So yeah, we've got the liquid fuel now for our foundry. We're also going to want to smelt some stuff. So let's see if we can grab some ores from, well, no, we could just basically just take the iron ingots from our iron farm and smelt it like that. Now what's actually going to be quite interesting is to see if we can actually smelt dusts. I'm going to make myself, if I can grab some sticks. Where are the sticks at? Is that sticks in there? No. Here we go, a couple of oak planks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself one of those ore hammers. They are pretty amazing. Bam, bam. And now we're going to grab some ore from ores and gems. And what we're going to do is we're going to, yeah, let's try copper. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to smash the copper into dust, and I want to see if copper dust smelts in the foundry. If it does, it's still a good way of us doubling our ores. Because if I remember rightly, Tinker's Construct used to double the amount of ore that you got from smelting ores by default, but maybe that's changed. Anyway, here we are. Let's put some lava into the tanks. So you right click on the tank and in goes the lava. It looks like each one of these can hold up to, I guess, 4 buckets. 3, 4, amazing. And now the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4. A fully stocked foundry now, ready to rock. Click on the controller, and yeah, it's full of lava. So we're going to try putting in some copper dust. Does this work? Oh yeah, look at this, it smelts. And it smelts really quickly. That's insanely quick. But we'll put the rest in here, and you can see on the left, we have 8 ingots of copper. But that's not all, there's a big tank here that can hold a lot of stuff, so let's put some iron in here as well. Man, it smelts so much quicker than Tinker's Construct used to. This is a really cool mod. Now, what you have to be careful of in Tinker's Construct is, just like in real life, sometimes metals mix together to make an alloy. For example, one of the most famous alloys in the world is steel. And that is a mix of smelting iron and carbon. And carbon, I think, is about smelting coal. So let's go and grab some coal, and let's go and see if we can make some steel, because steel will be a really good place to start for an amazing tool. So my aspiring wizard friends, we have some coal and some charcoal. This should be perfect. This can create carbon. I'm not sure if you can put logs directly in here. Maybe you can. But anyway, let's plug this in. Now, if we want to increase the capacity of this foundry, what we can do is add another layer of fire bricks along the top. At least I think. This is how Tinker's Construct works. So, in theory, it should be how this mod works. I have no reason to suspect otherwise. Just be very careful, make sure you don't fall in the middle there, because that is molten metal. So we'll put some more iron in here, but as you can see, we've already got a block of molten steel. Oh wow, this smelts together really quickly as well. Very nice. And it looks like the ratio is 1:1, so we'll put some more charcoal in, because we're going to get loads of steel. Steel is like one of the best materials in the world. Now you're probably wondering, actually, hang on a sec, we've got 3 different types of metal in here. How do we make sure the right one gets poured out of a tap? Well, that's pretty simple. You click on it, and it gets lowered to the bottom, and that's the one that comes out first. Okay, pretty cool. So a quick recap, we have the foundry. We have it all set up, and we have it absolutely full to the brim of molten steel, 3 blocks and 6 ingots. But how do we turn the metal inside into tools? Well, that's pretty simple. So we're going to need some casts for one. We'll start with a paxel cast, I suppose. So we're going to need a paxel head made out of stone. We put the stone thing on the table, we pour the steel around it, and it creates a cast. Very simple. So now we've got to go and find our blueprints. Where did we put all of those Silent Gear blueprints? And here we go, of course, it's in Modpack. Now we've only got the blueprint for a pickaxe, so I think we're going to have to find the paxel blueprint, but that shouldn't be too hard to make. Some blueprint paper, which is just lapis or blue dye, and paper. Yeah, we've got loads of this stuff. Now I do read your comments a lot in the comment section, so thank you for dropping those. They are a great place for advice, and I just love reading what you guys think of the series in general. One of you guys mentioned that Snad is actually even better than we thought it was for making sugarcane. Basically, every time Snad gets a redstone pulse, it will grow a sugarcane. And that sounds actually amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a quick button. There we go, there's some birch logs. We can turn that into planks and then use one to make a button. Now we're going to put the button next to the Snad, and we're just going to slam it and see what happens. There we go, we can put it in the middle actually for double the win. But now, in theory, if we slam this, the sugarcane will just grow massively. Yeah, so sometimes your tips are good, sometimes they're not so good. So what can I say? No, I mean, maybe we're doing it wrong. Maybe we should put the button on the actual side of the Snad. Let's try that. I mean, it's growing quicker, but it's not 1 block per button press. But yeah, it definitely does work. So if you can give this thing like a redstone pulse constantly, you can get basically infinite sugarcane. Good to know. So blue dye, paper around the edge, and we get some blueprint paper, and you get a lot of this stuff. It's pretty easy to get, so we'll make 20 just for now. But we want the Paxel blueprint, so we're going to need some sticks. And I think what you generally do is make the shape of a Paxel. There we go, kind of. And we have a Paxel blueprint. Okay, very cool. Now we're going to combine this with stone to get our stone head. So the Paxel blueprint, some cobblestone, not too much of this. How much does it need? There we go. And now we have a template, the stone Paxel head. So back to the wizard's tower. We put the stone Paxel head in the casting table, hit the tap once, and the steel starts to pour out. There we go. And there you go, after a little bit of time it cools down, you hear a hiss, and you can pick up the Paxel cast. It does break the stone pickaxe head that was in there, but that's okay, we weren't going to make a stone Paxel anyway. So now we have the Paxel cast, we can put this into the foundry table, again, the casting table, hit the steel one more time, and this will make us a steel Paxel head once it cools. Oh yeah, music to my ears, that blacksmith hiss. And that's amazing. Now, using the same logic, what we can do is we can put a stick here. Now, I'm not sure if this will work or not, because a stick is kind of flammable, so it might not make a tool rod cast, but it might do. Yeah, it looks like it has. So now we have a tool rod cast, and you guessed it, we can make a steel tool rod, or a steel rod, if you will. Now we're going to want to do a little bit of crafting around here, so it's probably a good idea for us to make a crafting bench over here for the corner, and for the other corner, we're going to make a chest to dump all of the casts and blueprints and things, because storing them over here makes just much more sense. But the book is kind of frozen. When you look inside the book to see what you're supposed to do next, it really does just stop at the foundry. There are no more chapters, and I think you're supposed to just kind of work it out for yourself, which is fair enough. If you've played Tinker's Construct, it is basically exactly the same, like very little changes, so you don't have to worry too much. And we're about ready to rock. We have the Paxel head, we have the Paxel tool rod. So combine this, and I think you do still need the blueprints to make the actual tool. Or do you? So for some reason the game doesn't want to let us use a steel tool rod to actually make the Paxel, but you know what? That's okay. We can use a stick for now, and that should be fine. I wonder if you can combine this with the steel rod now to... no, okay. But we have a steel Paxel. Very cool. This has a lot of attack damage, a lot of durability. Steel is honestly just basically a straight upgrade from iron. It's also very easy to get, so repairing this shouldn't be too hard either. But there we go, that's amazing. Now what I want to do also is make myself a steel pickaxe, because I don't think you can put a diamond tip on a Paxel, but we'll give it a try. We're going to grab the diamonds, grab a few more bits, a few more blueprints, and let's get back to work. So here we go, back in business. We'll put a few more of these bits in the chest. But yeah, we're going to need the pickaxe head, and we're going to make ourselves a steel pickaxe. So it starts with a pickaxe head made out of stone. We put the stone in the casting table, and we smelt the cast. Now the cast itself does actually require a fair amount of steel. We're already down to 1 block and 6 ingots, so this is the last tool we can really make out of steel, but I think it's well worth it. Now we've also brought the tool rod blueprint over, because this makes rough rods, which I think might be better than traditional ones. So birch wood tool rod, we'll try that. We'll combine the steel with the birch, and there we go, we have a steel pickaxe. Now what I might do as well is upgrade our existing steel Paxel to a birch Paxel. I'm not sure if it makes any difference, but why not, because it looks kind of cool. So we have ourselves a steel pickaxe and a steel Paxel, but we want to upgrade these, so let's see if we can make ourselves a diamond tip. We're going to need the tip upgrade blueprint, pretty simple. Let's just get some bits out of our backpack. There's some stone and whatnot. And that should be everything. There we go. we combine the diamonds with this. Wait, this is how it works, right? Oh. So you no longer make diamond tips. That's a bit of a rip. So what's Dimerald? Oh, Dimerald must be a combination of diamonds and emeralds. But how do we make Dimerald? Dimerald. Yeah, there we go. Gem alloys. Oh, this is new. A recrystallizer. So we'll see if we can make... Oh my god. Purpur? What kind of madman dreamed this up? This is nuts. Oh my god. Whoever did this, you are crazy. I don't like you. You're my least favorite mod maker right now. That is absolutely nuts. You can't make a Dimerald, a diamond emerald tip, until you've been to the end? That is straight up bonkers. Rebalance your mod because that is nuts. Almost as nuts as the fact that this really shouldn't be like this. Let's just fix this. Oh man, that sucks major league balls. That's the most ridiculous. That is straight up hands on pants. Redonkulous. Dimerald. It's not even that good. It's like not even that good. It just makes your pickaxe hit like it's a diamond pickaxe. That's silly. But wait, it's a gem alloy. So alloys, that's what this thing's designed for. Maybe if we're smart, we can put a diamond in here, an emerald in here. Oh, could this be? We've got liquid diamond, we've got liquid emerald, and those are not combining together. I think we've just wasted a diamond and an emerald. Well, interesting. Okay, no, so that doesn't work. Man, well, on the bright side, we've learned how Silent Gear Metalworks works, and we've built some really cool tools. Now the question is also, can we make some armor? Now I don't really want to make any Silent Gear armor. It would be cool, but the truth is we're wizards, and wizards don't wear armor, my dudes. It's like rule number 1. You can't cast spells when you're waving around your arms, but you're coated in chainmail. It just makes your arms too heavy. And yeah, we're wizards, we're not strong, we're weak, we're book readers. So we're gonna have to make some magic robes, and we're not gonna make some armor, even though it would be very useful. We're that loyal to the roleplay. What we are gonna do though to round this episode up, because that didn't take very long at all, it's very simple. The Silent Gear Metalworks Foundry is pretty cool, but at the end of the day, all it really did was let us make regular steel paxels and regular steel pickaxes, so kind of a bit of a waste of time. But I do think it was good to do. I have been excited for Tinker's Contract coming back, and hopefully development will continue on that mod and it will continue to improve and get more functionality. Now, another problem you may have noticed in the background we have around the colony is all of these stink lines. So yeah, this is a bit of like a mistake on my part, but yeah, when we click on these dudes, you can see that our colonists are not very happy at all. They are actually starving. Now they don't die, they won't just vanish, but they are so unhappy that they do not do their jobs. They just do not work. I didn't know this was a thing because at level 1, they're pretty simple, like level 1 buildings, it doesn't really matter. But unfortunately, because we went to level 5, and this is like a word to the wise, if you want to dodge this, keep your buildings at level 1 at home. But it does look like, unfortunately, we're going to have to expand the colony a little bit more. So over here, and we'll grab a build tool, and I'm going to show you, which buildings I've put in this. So I've added some more buildings, but don't worry, the buildings that I've added are all still hyper simple. They're like the most simple of simple buildings you will ever see. Let me give you the quick rundown. So number 1, we're going to look at the fisherman's hut, and this is super simple. Basically, the fisherman's hut is just a dock. We'll have to make it first, of course, so I'll be right back. Now the fisherman's hut needs kind of deep water, so we're going to come over here and plonk it where the water's quite deep. So let's just grab these huts out of my backpack, and here we go. Into scans, scroll down, it's the fisher's hut, and we'll start at level 1. And this is a bit, where is it? This is a very simple building, it's over there, we'll bring it over. But it still looks pretty cool. We're going to swivel it around, bring it up. And the way this building works is it won't replace any of the water blocks, so you don't have to worry about it making your area look unneat. But yeah, it's just like a simple dock that goes on the edge here. The fisherman can come out, do his fishing, and that's all it is. So we'll get that built. At level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, the only difference is right here, this lamppost. Pretty cool. Get built. The next building is another kind of farm. Now, this is not the same farm, this is a mini farm. If I bring it over here, this is designed to fit perfectly inside the existing farm, but don't build this until your farm's at level 5, otherwise it'll get overwritten. But it goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very simple, and it slots in there. So level 1, boom. And the reason why we need to build this is because we're going to need more crops, because we need to get level 5 food for our colonists. Next up is the residence, and this is a little bit more complicated because you can't really have a small residence. It needs to have loads and loads and loads of beds. So we're kind of capped with that. Let's just remove this tree. And we'll put the residence over here. It's a pretty simple building again. But it's not an ugly building. And again, all of these buildings are exclusively made from cobblestone and oak wood. And there we go, that slots quite perfectly there. So we'll set that to level 1 and tick the box. Boom. And the last building is a restaurant. Now this is a very basic building indeed, but again, our colonists are going to need somewhere to eat. It's again a very simple build. It's like the tiniest of restaurants. It's nowhere anybody's going to really enjoy eating, but it works for us. And there we go, yeah, it's got an inside area where the cook does their thing, and it's got a seating area around the back that does get more seats as you go up in the levels. Pretty simple, pretty cool, but we'll put this to level 1 and get it built. There we go, and this is all, again, very simple stuff. It's all made out of stone and oak. There are very little complicated requirements for this. Now there is, of course, one more building that brings everything together in quite a nice way, and that is the warehouse. So we'll place this down, and again, this kind of has to be a bit bigger because it needs a lot of space for all of the racks we need to store stuff. But we have loads of room over here by what's gonna be our restaurant, so we'll put this down as well. Down here, it's the warehouse. Doesn't look too different at level 1 from level 5. All that really changes is the amount of racks, and the idea, the design behind this is really just a big barn. So we'll put it over here, pull the trigger, and there we go, we're about ready to begin. Let's get the materials, stone and oak, and get these built. Now, weirdly enough, I have actually really enjoyed designing these very simple, very primitive mine colonies buildings. Sometimes you just want a functional colony without having to go and make a million different really weird blocks, go to the nether, go to the end, do all that stuff. And again, all of these buildings that we've added to our colony are also available to Patreon and YouTube members on the Discord. So go and check those out. But again, it is frustrating that we do have to build these buildings. I really only just wanted a builder's hut, and I didn't realize that getting it to level 5 would mean the colonists do need some crazy food. Still, it's not the end of the world. Building these extra buildings is going to make our little village down here feel much more alive, which is a pretty good thing. Getting this house to level 5 is going to give us basically a slot for another colonist, so we can have a child be born and wait for them to grow up. Then we can use the one unemployed dude who can become a warehouse courier, and the other guy can become a chef in the restaurant. But yeah, there they are. The new buildings are all complete, and I'm pretty happy with that. The village looks pretty cool. It's very basic, but you know what? That's fine. Our main focus is the wizard's tower. And there we go, my dudes. The final building goes up, and let's go and configure these things. So it looks like Kenzel ran over here. And, well, no, hang on a sec. Yeah, we have to assign him as the chef. So we'll do that, and let's take a look at the menu. So we need to pick something that is level 5, that's not too hard to make, that doesn't really require any extra steps to make either. And do you know what? After looking through the menu, I do think steak dinner is probably the best bet for us. We have a cowhand hut so we can make the beef. Onions and garlic both grow anywhere, and the last thing is a potato. So those are 4 easy things to make. it does mean we will need to design one more building, the cookery. Well, that's something I can do, and yeah, we'll come back to you next episode when we've done that, but we've got the basics down. We will need to get the farm built, the mini farm in there, and some more fields for these extra crops we need for the level 5 food. But this, in theory, should have us sorted. We don't need to worry about colonists getting sick, because I have disabled that in the config. A little sneaky trick, but again, we're not really doing mine colonies, so that's why that is the case. But once those things are done, we can get on to expanding our tower. And let me show you here. So we have 2 extra tower things that I've designed. The Tower Mystic Agriculture segment, that's going to go on top of this one, and then above that we have the Primal Magic segment. These are both very cool, but I'm not going to spoil that for you. We're going to wait until we can build those so you can see them going up. But a massive thank you for watching this episode, my dudes. Don't forget to drop a like and or a comment down below, because they both help the video massively. Also subscribe and perhaps become a Patreon or YouTube member to get access to the blueprints that we've been building over on the Discord. And next episode, I think we're going to be building the Mystical Agriculture Tower level and maybe looking at that, but I'm not entirely sure. Let me know in the comments section if there's a magic mod you really do want to see me check out. But until next time, my dudes, a massive thank you for watching, and take care.